Welcome, everybody. It is Faith, Faith Diggs. Thank you very much for tuning in today to our podcast, Truth or Flesh. We're going to be talking about a very important subject today, something that is impacting all of us. It is a very controversial subject, so I'm letting everyone know that in which we all already know that this is very controversial. So there will be some who feel one way and others will feel another way. You're going to hear from people who will be voicing their opinion about immigration and ICE. So we're going to be talking about, is this our opinions or is it truth? So we're living in a time where people feel like what they feel is truth. And what we feel is not always truth. I know we feel like that as human beings, but we could be totally wrong. And there is only one truth. So I know we're living in a time where everybody thinks their experience is truth. And that's not true. Okay? Your experience is what you experienced in life, but that's not truth. Okay? Myself, I'm going to be coming from a very biblical aspect with this. Okay? And there is only one truth. Again, as I mentioned, we're living in a day and time where everybody feels what they feel is truth or what they've experienced. That may be true, what you went through, but it doesn't mean that it's truth. So we're going to be talking about this subject. And again, get ready. There will be disagreements. And I want you guys, those that I call, so I'm going to be making phone calls. And those that we call, I want your honest opinion. Don't try to bend to me or anyone else. Tell me what you really feel. I'm having a little interference with my mic. Hold on one moment. Okay, so you're not going to be trying to bend to anybody's opinion. For those whom I will be calling, you don't have to try and feel for what my opinion is in this. You're not going to have to do that. I have invited some people on who are aspiring models. So as some of you may know, I'm a filmmaker, a TV producer, and I'm the owner of Prague Brand. Okay, it's a clothing brand as well as a brand where we feature models on billboards, in runway shows, in our digital international magazine, Prague Fashion. So I've invited them on to voice their opinion, their honest opinion about this subject. Okay. Again, it's very controversial. We're hearing different opinions. People say different things. But we're going to hear the truth today. But that would be later on as I expound upon that. Again, I want you to be totally honest. But before we do this, I'm going to go into something. It's going to seem a little off subject. So this is a bit off subject. It's not about immigration. But I want those who I call, so I need you guys to listen closely. Those I call, I want you to first comment on this video. So I'm going to show you a video. It's about a man who broke into a house. He broke into a homeowner's home. She came in with her daughter, her grown daughter, and saw the man in her house. So I'll expound on it a little bit more after I show it to you guys. Let me see. Let me put my glasses on so I can see Okay. So we'll expound on this. And everybody that I call today, I need for you to tell me first what you would do if you came to your house and somebody had broken into your house and was sitting in your house, eating your food. They had taken a bath, and you walk in and you see this person, if you don't have a heart attack, okay? What do you think you would do? And of course, none of us really knows what we would do unless this type of thing happens. And hopefully we hope and pray that this never happens to anybody, okay? But this is a story, and I want you guys to watch the video closely, and then I'm gonna expound on it a little bit more. So here we go.
Burglar breaks into home and tidies up. In an unusual twist on a typical burglary, 36-year-old Damian Voynilovich broke into a woman's home not to steal, but to clean. After the woman had left for work, Voynilovich let himself into her house and began doing chores. He hung her washed laundry on the line, tidied up, and even helped himself to a meal and some wine. Before leaving, he left a note that read, "Don't worry, be happy, eat up and scratch." His odd behavior didn't stop there. He topped up the garden bird feeders, rearranged plant pots, and even emptied the recycling bin, leaving the house in a better condition than when he found it. 2 weeks later, Voynilovich repeated the pattern in Newport, breaking into a summer house where he washed and dried his own clothes before eating the homeowner's food. Though these break-ins were highly unconventional, the court acknowledged Voynilovich's difficult circumstances, including homelessness, at the time. Despite his strange actions, which lacked malice, he was sentenced to 22 months in prison for the break-ins. His apology to the victims highlighted the bizarre nature of the crimes. While his behavior was unsettling, it was far from typical burglary.
Okay, so there you have it. So a burglar broke into a home. He sat down and ate the people's food. He took a bath, okay? Made himself at home. He cleaned up. He cleaned up the people's house. So to expound on it a little bit more, the homeowner walked in with her adult daughter, and she almost had a heart attack and was screaming, "Who are you? Who are you in my house? Oh my God." So she grabbed went into her purse to grab her phone. She ran near the door and telling her daughter, come on, because she didn't know what the man was capable of. So she grabbed her phone, and the man said, wait, I'm here. I don't have a place to go. He said, I cleaned up your house. He said, and I was hungry, and I took a bath, but I'm not going to hurt you. And she said, "What? Are you crazy?" And so she, like I said, she was at the door, and she had grabbed her phone to call the police. Her daughter, her grown daughter, knocked the phone out of her hand and said, "Mom, did you hear him? He said that he's not here to hurt anybody. He's not going to harm us," he said. She said, "Are you crazy?" And she said, "Mom, have a little compassion for somebody." She said, "You're crazy." And her daughter, when the mother had the phone in her hand to call the police, and she was at the door, the daughter took the door and slammed the door. And then she knocked the phone out of her daughter's hand, out of her mother's hand, and she pushed her mother to the floor. So I'm going to leave the story at that. Again, this is a little off subject. It doesn't have to do with immigration, but when I make the phone calls, we're going to be making phone calls, as I mentioned earlier, to people who are interested in voicing their opinion about immigration and ICE. But before we go into that, because we talk about all things that impact human beings, I want you to first start off, before you give your opinion about immigration, what you would do if this situation happened to you. What would you do about your daughter, your grown daughter, who did that, her reaction to this? What would you do? What do you think you would do? Again, none of us really knows what we would do. Maybe have a heart attack, like I said. But I'm going to be making some phone calls during the podcast. But before I do that, I'm going to show some more videos here And these videos pertain to immigration and ICE. So most likely we've all seen this. We've all seen what has gone on. This is about Renee Good, the woman who was killed by ICE. So we're gonna watch this video, and it's like a news press type of thing. They're talking about it, and then we'll kind of expound on it.
They just shot at somebody. This car crashed. You're criminal. You're criminal.
This new video shared with CNN shows the moments before Renee Good is fatally shot in Minneapolis. Here, Good's SUV is partially blocking traffic on the street as drivers are honking and residents are blowing whistles. Several vehicles on the street appear to belong to federal agents. Lynette Riney Grandel, a resident who shot this video and started filming approximately 2 minutes before the shooting, lives nearby and told CNN she was trying to figure out why there were so many ICE vehicles on the street. About a minute before the shooting, agents can be seen getting out of some vehicles and walking toward Good's SUV. Moments later, gunshots are heard. Less than a minute after the shooting, the video captures ICE agent Jonathan Ross walking by.
What did the guys do?
Okay. So yeah, this is very disheartening. It's very sad to see all of this going on. And it has impacted all of us about immigration, about the Trump administration, about ICE. So I didn't show him shooting, but we could hear the gunshots. Okay. So I'm going to come from two different angles. So the police, ICE officers, requested for her to move her vehicle because she was obstructing them from passing through. Okay, that's their perspective. That's their side of it. That she was passing, that they wanted to pass through, and she was obstructing them from passing through. So from her perspective, she feels like she was being the Good Samaritan to people who were unfortunate, the less fortunate, the immigrants that are here. So that was her perspective, that she was supporting them and protecting them, and that she was helping the vulnerable. Okay, so we're going to see another video here.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad. Show your face. I'm not mad. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Okay. So we see there that her obstructing them from passing through. We see her and her wife, which I'm just going to keep it real. I don't believe in marriages between the same sex. And it's not so much as me, but what is truth on that? But anyhow, that is not our subject today. But I'm going to keep it very real here on this show, on this podcast. So she was preventing them, as the other video showed as well, from passing through. Okay? They're after, as they call them, illegal aliens or illegal immigrants here in America. We did see, so from the perspective of the officers, we saw them, the two ladies, taunting them. And she said, go get yourself some lunch or something to that effect. we did see, or we heard the impact when she hit him with the car. Okay, so I didn't get the video where, from the other angle, where you could see her coming at him. But again, from her perspective, she was helping the unfortunate, those who are vulnerable. Okay, so we're gonna talk about both. Again, I want you guys to give your honest opinion about all of this. Do not hold back. Make sure you comment in the comment section. Hit the thumbs up for a like for us. Be sure that you have subscribed to our channel. That definitely helps. Okay, so we're gonna see another video. Let's see. Now, this particular one is about Alex Preddy. So Alex Preddy was the man that was shot and killed by ICE officers, okay? Let's take a look at this one. Okay, so that was Alex Preddy. Now, I don't know if some of you guys know this. That was 11 days before he was shot and killed. That was another day. So from what we could see, he was angry with the ICE officers because he felt that he was protecting the illegal immigrants here. Okay, that was his perspective. But this video circulated a few days ago. So this didn't come out initially. This video was not shown initially. This video was before he was shot and killed, 11 days before he was shot and killed. Now, there are people saying, well, he had a gun. So this is what everyone knows, that Alex Preddy had a gun. It was stated that he had the license to carry, that he was able to carry. I have not seen a video circulating before we saw him struggling on the ground. Now, again, this video wasn't about him struggling on the ground when they were trying to detain him right before he was murdered. This is not that video that I just showed you guys. This video, again, was 11 days before he was killed by the ICE officers. Okay. One thing that I want to be clear about so everybody can know this. ICE officers are real officers. So I want to state that. Like, a lot of people have been told they're not real officers, they're ICE. They just look at them as ICE. These are federal officers. So just so you guys know that. And if you look it up, you'll see that. Okay? We had the police chief here in Chicago talking to some Chicago citizens, telling them, do not combat with these agents because they are federal law officers, okay? They're federal law officers. But anyhow, from Alex Preddy's perspective, he felt as if he was protecting the vulnerable, the illegal immigrants who are people too that have a heart and a soul and were created by God, okay? But we did see that he spit at the officers and he kicked the taillight out. In this particular video, they got out of the vehicle, out of the car. They grabbed him and threw him to the ground. They tussled with him a little bit, and I don't know if you guys could hear, he was screaming, help me, is what he was saying. They let him go. So again, this was 11 days before. And there were also people in that video that I just showed you guys that were defending him. They were screaming at ICE and hollering at him and everything, calling him names. And he called them trash, you piece of trash. And, you know, he was using profanity and saying what he was saying. But again, from his perspective, he felt like he was supporting the vulnerable, okay? Those who were helpless. That's what he felt. So I wanted to show all of those videos to you guys. And I'm gonna now be making some calls. I'm gonna first start with Zarina. So Zarina is one of our participants. I do want to mention that at the very end, we're going to spin a wheel for the participants who are here. Again, as I mentioned before, they're aspiring models, and some of them may have modeled already. We're going to spin the wheel. If the wheel stops on someone's name or whomever's name it stops on, then you will win a feature to be featured on a page of Prague Fashion International Digital Magazine. Okay, so you're going to win a feature, but your photos must be up to par. They have to be 1080p, at least, preferably 4K. So I'm going to start with the Zarina. Zarina, I hope you're listening, because if you're not listening, we're going to move on to the next call. But I will say that if you guys are not listening and you do not answer your phone, we're going to move on to the next one. You do forfeit your opportunity to be featured if the wheel stops on your name. So we're calling Zarina to get her take on this. But again, I want everyone to remember that before you comment on the subject, the immigration thing, the ICE thing, I hope you heard or saw the video, the very first video where someone broke into the homeowner's home and what happened with that. Okay?
Hello.
Hi, Zarina.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing well. How are you?
Good.
Wonderful. So did you watch it from the beginning?
Yes, I did.
Okay, very good. Okay, so first I want you to, and again, this is off the subject of immigration, the first video. So you saw the video about someone breaking into the homeowner's home?
Correct.
Okay, tell me what you think about that and what do you think you would have done?
Well, I probably, if I would have seen someone come into my home, I probably would freak out at first.
Yes, and wait, Zarina, let me interrupt you for a moment. So remember, they're already in your home when you walk into your house. They're sitting there and they're eating.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so if I was seeing the person in my home, I should have said I would freaked out.
Okay.
And with, probably picking up my phone and telling my daughter to run out as well.
Mm-hmm.
But then hearing the man and then hearing what my daughter said about the man saying, hey, I'm not here to harm you. I just cleaned up, and stuff like that. I really thought it was act of kindness that he did, somewhat. But then at the same time, too, it was like, this person must be crazy.
Okay.
That's what I would be thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have waited until, the police came to get him. I wouldn't have a conversation with him or anything because I don't know what his mental health is at. And so I just would want us to be, safe. Now, my daughter knocking it out of my hand, I would, look at her like she's crazy, and I would have picked up my phone and still called the police, regardless of what he said.
Okay. So remember, your daughter knocked you down to the floor. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're, like you said, you're thinking your daughter is crazy as well.
Correct.
So let me ask you a question, Zarina. Would you let him remain in your house? Because like you said, you would think somebody has a mental problem who
Correct.
broke into your house. So would you let him he cleaned up your house now, but he's eating your food and he took a bath and you don't know this is a stranger. So would you let him stay there?
No.
Okay. Okay, good. Let's go into immigration. So tell me, what's your take on this?
So on the first video that I seen with Renee, I'm just going to be honest. What I seen, what I observed.
Okay, I want you to be honest.
I feel like she should have. If I'm going to be protecting someone, I'm not going to put myself in a position where I can also be harmed. And what they were doing was really taunting the officers.
Okay.
And getting them to want to provoke to do something.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like her wife telling him to go eat lunch and stuff. And we already know these people are already upset. You know what I mean? Already, angry about something. Something could have happened at home, or we don't know.
Now, are you speaking of
with somebody else?
Yes, Zarina. So, are you speaking of something could have happened at home regarding the wives?
Prior to them coming out.
Okay,
yes.
Because you said they seem to be very upset. Okay, I get
correct.
it. Mm-hmm.
And her blocking them to be able to pass through to go and do whatever they needed to do. Instead, she should have, parked her car and possibly went to go help the person to get out of harm's way instead of trying to taunt them, because she just put herself in a situation where they thought she was trying to run over them and they shot her.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. Do you think, now you just mentioned that she should maybe have parked her car, which I think that's wise, as you said. And do you think that she should have helped them at all, the immigrants, if there were some around? Because we didn't see any around, but apparently
Correct.
They were headed for them, the immigration officers. Okay.
Correct.
So,
I feel like she knew somebody in that area that was an immigrant.
Okay.
And I think that's probably why she was blocking the street for them to pass through to get to them. So probably she was giving them enough time to leave, per se. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Correct.
But I just feel like at the same time too, she put herself in harm's way trying to protect the people that been here in this country for however long. And so she feels like, let's protect them because this is not right.
Okay. So let me ask you, do you feel like they should be here? The immigrants, the illegal immigrants?
Yes. And the reason why I feel that way is because we allowed them to come in and be here for so long. And so the ones that are already here, that been here for 10 plus years, and started a family here, business, and so on. Yeah, and we should also help them get legalized here in the United States. Now, the ones that are trying to come in, no, you need to come in the right way. But the ones that we allowed to come in wrong, we should give them citizenship.
Okay, so you do understand that they're undocumented. So it's not that they were allowed, they crossed the border and people didn't know they were here. Now, I do agree with you, like what happened with Biden. So Biden just made it open borders. But I believe that Biden was trying to get back at Trump because he felt like that would help his campaign. Because I remember before this election of 2024, when was it? 2024?
Correct.
So they knew that Trump was against it, and he felt like this would help his campaign, so he just left it wide open. Okay?
Correct.
So you feel like they should remain here because they've been here.
Yeah, because I can remember when they had the I'm trying to think what they call them, but they call them something babies, where the parents have them here in the United States and they give them, citizenship.
Okay.
Those kids, right? Mm-hmm. So my thing is, if there was a problem about them being here, crossing the border, and them being here for so long, and I'm since I've been alive, they've been here. So I don't understand why we're having this issue about them crossing the border and being here when all other presidents, you had Clinton, you had Bush, you had Reagan, you had all of them, and they didn't do anything about it. They didn't even crack down on it. And now we have Trump in office, and now he's trying to crack down on it, and I understand what he's trying to do. But at the same time, too, the ones that are here, I feel like they should be able to get citizenship.
Okay, so let me just say this, and then I'm going to have to let you go. And thank you, Zarina. Okay, so you do know that the other presidents were not allowing it. So Obama sent more illegal immigrants back than any other president. And I hear people say he was quiet about it, but you have to understand it wasn't an open border like that. So when Biden did it, it was an influx of illegal immigrants. So Trump has to say, this is what I'm doing, or he has to show it. It's different from Obama. And then I heard someone say last week, well, he surely wasn't knocking on people's doors and pulling them out of their house. He didn't have to, because he had the local government cooperating. So you have to understand the local government is not cooperating with Trump. Okay?
Correct.
So Trump says, I'm going to do this with or without your assistance, because I promise the American people. So I just want to state that, because we're gonna talk about both sides of this. As far as from the perspective of the immigrants or those who support them, and from the perspective of Trump and his administration and ICE and all of that. So Obama sent many illegal immigrants back, even more actually, but he didn't talk about it and people didn't know it. But because there's been an influx of illegal immigrants due to the open wide border, Trump has to show what he's doing to show the American people that he's doing what he's doing. Thank you, Zarina. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so we thank Zarina for that so very much, for her honest opinion about it. She told us what she thinks. She feels like that they've been here so long that they should remain. I'm going to expound on that a little bit later. We're going to call Vladimir now. So hopefully Vladimir is listening. We're calling Vladimir, okay? Calling you up, Vlad.
Vladimir.
Hi, Vladimir. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. How are you, man?
I am wonderful. Are you listening to the podcast?
Absolutely.
You're watching it. Okay, very good. Okay, did you see it from the very beginning?
Yes, I did, of course.
Okay, so did you see the video that I showed, which doesn't have to do with immigration, but the burglar that broke into the homeowner's home?
That's correct, yes, of course.
So tell me, what would you do in that situation? Or what do you think you would do?
Of course, I will tell you that, first of all, if a burglar has ever broken into my home, they would definitely have to go through my grown pit bull. So that would be definitely a problem for a burglar, regardless of their intention. If they're able to make it out alive, God bless them. It means the Lord Jesus saved it. But unfortunately, a lot of the times it doesn't happen that way.
Okay, so you said they would have to go through did you say your dog?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So,
I get that.
yeah.
Okay. So tell me the take. What would you do if you're the so you're not a mother, of course. You're a father, and your daughter. This is your grown daughter. She
Correct.
says, you heard what he said. He needs a place to live. And she even manages to push you down or shove you, or you try to get to the door and break, because you really don't know you don't even know if this guy has a gun or whatever. So let's just take your dog out of it right now and act as if your dog's not there. So give me your take on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here, it's very simple. Regardless of the intention, the law is the law, and, you just don't come into somebody's home and sit there and be like, hey, I don't have a place to live. I'm just going to hang out here and do your chores. That really doesn't work that way.
Correct.
I can understand the compassion behind it. I can understand about helping people. I can completely understand. What I would do is I would probably hand them some money, here, get some food, get some this, and I wouldn't necessarily, you're talking about myself. I wouldn't get freaked out because, honestly, I'm a pretty strong person, personality-wise and everything else. So I would deal with it on my own as far as if I don't see a threat. Of course, if the guy is standing there with a gun, I would try to, protect my family, protect my daughter, get in front of him and make sure that he doesn't breathe again. But at this point, it's like if a man has, he's unarmed, he doesn't cause immediate threat, I would hand him some money, I would probably, feed him, if he didn't feed himself, already, but then explain to him, listen, you're lucky that you're still alive. Most of the time when you break into people's homes, you may find things that you may not want to find.
Right.
So,
right.
I would definitely show compassion, but at the same time, I would stick by the law.
Okay, I understand. People just don't break in. So Vladimir is saying people just don't break into people's homes, and the law is the law, and that's your home. Not only the law, but your house that he broke into. Okay, so tell me your take on immigration and ICE.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I'm a man of God. There's nothing new underneath the sun. It's been done before. The injustice has been done throughout the years and so forth. As long as we existed as humanity, we had to endure. So whether it's legal or illegal, there is going to be pain. And unfortunately, it comes down to this, where we have to still follow the law. We have to follow the law because unless we follow the law, this is going to be an anarchy, and it's not going to be a society anymore. We are so blessed to have this country, and I come from a communistic country, former Soviet Union. So I'll tell you this: the point of the folks being able to even protest and to get this close to an operating officer as they're doing their operation, it's incredible to see. The reason is because in most countries, and I swear to you, in most countries of the world, you come as close to the border within 200 feet, you cross that line, you're gonna get shot.
You're gonna get shot.
Not gonna be breathing anymore.
Okay.
So we're so blessed by it. I think that definitely the loss of life is the loss of life. It's horrible. Nobody ever wants to see that. But, we still have to abide by the law. Just like you don't go 140 miles per hour on the highway just because you can, you're going to get arrested, because you're endangering other people's lives. There's laws, and we have to abide by them.
Okay. Thank you, Vladimir. So you're saying that even if we have compassion for immigrants or illegal immigrants, that they still have to abide by the law. Okay. I appreciate that. Okay, thank you so much. I want everybody to give their honest opinion. Thank you, Vladimir. And hold on, continue to watch.
Thank you, Faith.
Thank you so much. Thank you, bye.
Of course.
Okay, so Vladimir said that we got to abide by the law. So apparently he doesn't feel that they should be able to just remain here, but they must abide by the law. I'm going to call Reham. Next up is Reham. That's the third ring for Reham.
Your call has been forwarded to
Okay,
voicemail.
we got to go past Reham. Okay, next up, I'm calling Queen.
Hello?
Hi, is this Queen?
Yes.
Hi, Queen. This is
Hi,
Faith.
how are you?
I am doing well. How are you?
I am doing great. Thanks for
Wonderful.
asking.
Wonderful. Okay, Queen, so are you watching the podcast?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and did you see it from the very beginning where the burglar broke into the home?
Yes, ma'am, I sure did. I have been watching it since you were testing it.
Very good. Okay, so, and this doesn't have to do with immigration, but if a burglar broke into your home and your daughter, this is your grown daughter, she reacted the way she did, you give us your take on this.
Okay, and this is so wild because I actually do have an adult daughter.
Uh-huh.
So I was thinking about it when you were showing the video and everything, and I was thinking on my intake because I do work with the homeless people a lot, so I do understand that some people that are out there that are homeless, sometimes it's out of their control. You never know why people are out there because they're homeless. However, being the Christian that I am and being honest about it, if I came home and there was somebody sitting at my table eating or explained that they took a bath or something like that, it probably would startle me for a second. But then again, it wouldn't freak me out because I have Jesus in my life. And I usually don't worry about things like that. It's like I said, if I opened up the door and saw somebody sitting in my house, that would startle me at first. But then what I would do I think I would go ahead and look at my daughter. We have this thing where we look at each other. Like, you know how back in the day you would look at your mom or she'd look at you and you would kind of like get into her brain and look at each other's eyes. And I would think that by us both serving homeless people, but also knowing that they have mental problems sometimes from being out there so long, you don't know what this person is thinking, even though they said they were not going to harm us.
Okay.
So I believe I would probably look at my daughter. She would read my mind. I'd read her mind. We would go to the door, and then I would take the phone. I know that you said that she pushed on the floor and that knocked the phone out my hand, but I still feel like some kind of way she would dial 911 as I'm standing there being the nice hostess that I am, playing it off until the police got there.
But Queen, but let me stop you. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but we're not talking about your daughter. I'm speaking of a daughter that reacts. So I understand what you're saying. You're saying, you believe you know how your daughter react. But we're giving you the scenario of this type of daughter who feels like you're being incompassionate. So that's what we're going. This is a completely different daughter, and I want you to think of it like that. So go ahead.
So if I had a daughter that thought that I was being incompassionate by calling the police, is what you're saying?
Correct.
I believe that I will probably still just go along with whatever she's doing, and I believe that I will probably stand outside the door because we still need some law enforcement there, even though he said he cleaned up and he was doing his good deal and he was hungry and everything like that. I still believe that I would be outside calling the authorities.
Would you let him stay in your house? Remain there?
No, I would not. But what I would do, I would suggest that he would go to maybe like a homeless shelter or somewhere where he can get someone that can feed him, give him good meals and stuff like that. No, I wouldn't let the person that broke into my house stay with me. No, absolutely not.
Okay, very good. So give us your take on immigration and ICE.
Okay. And you said to be honest. And
I want you to be totally honest. Yes.
motivational speaker, so I'm just gonna come with it.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna lie, what's going on in Minneapolis right now has me very, very upset. It's actually even hard to watch it on the news. I don't think enough people are being honest about how wrong this feels.
Okay.
In my opinion. There is a heavy ICE presence in the city, and that's being labeled as enforcement, but really to me, it's kind of like being intimidated.
Okay.
Where you can have fear and chaos. And now when you have fear and chaos, there's 2 people are dead. So somehow, how are we supposed to accept this all as being right? What about these people's families, So me personally, I don't agree with it.
Okay.
I feel like even though I have not saw an ICE agent personally in real life, I think that when you have the presence of a lot of ICE agents there like that, it does cause confusion, it does cause anxiety, it does cause fear and chaos.
Okay.
I don't agree with the federal agents rolling through the neighborhoods and doing all that kind of stuff because it does start war, and now I feel like we are all at war because of all of this.
I understand. So let me ask you, do you think that ICE is causing the war, or do you think the citizens are?
I believe it's both.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because, like I'm saying, when you see the presence of people, they got on masks and all this kind of stuff. It looks kind of scary, you know what I'm saying? And you have these people coming towards you in crowds and in big bulks. But then you have the protesters on the other side. So I feel like with the presence of the ICE, it does cause a lot of confusion. But also the protesters, it's a way to protest, as my grandmother used to say. If you do a peaceful protest, you're able to voice your opinion, kind of like I'm doing now on this podcast, and you have it peacefully, it's different. But when you get to throwing things and spitting and using profanity and going off on people and kicking and shooting and doing all that kind of stuff, yes, that does cause a lot of anxiety and fear. And then I feel like then it makes it wrong on both sides.
So let me ask you. Okay, thank you for that. Yeah. So you said that it causes fear with the masks and all of that and the guns and that type of thing. So what do you think that Trump and the administration and ICE should do? Do you think they should just leave? What do you think the solution is?
Personally, I think that Trump is doing way too much.
You think he's doing the most, huh?
I think he's doing the most. I really do think he's doing the most. And I am of a particular age. I don't want to really say how old I am, but I have been through different things in Compton where I have seen things that other people have not seen. This is the first I've ever seen of a president doing anything like this. So it kind of makes me wonder, are you trying to get brownie points, or are you really trying to do something right? Do you really care what's going on? Because people's lives are being taken from this.
Okay. So Queen, I hear you. Yeah. I hear you. But what do you think he should do, though? Do you think that they should just leave, or what do you think the solution is then?
I really do feel like that if you have your green card and if you are legally over here and you legally have your businesses, such as they have restaurants and just different other things that they have, I believe that is okay for them to be over here. But if you are an illegal immigrant where you don't have your green card, then I think you should peacefully go back. I think that he should take away some of these ICE agents that are causing all this fear and really look into who are the people who are causing confusion and who aren't, because we're going back into what Trump is doing right now. It doesn't, to me, seem like he cares that these people's lives are being taken, and all he always says is he wants to blame people and say they were the ones that did something wrong, and that's why this happened to them. But that's not always the case.
Okay, so
they have not done anything wrong at all.
When you say he said who's done wrong, say that again for me.
Okay, so like every day he's saying, like, he'll say illegal immigrant. This is what they did. They were a threat. They were a this. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Something needed to be happened to them because they were a threat. So yes, ISIS had to take them down. I did hear this on the news, and that's what made me very upset, because I said, well, how does he know?
You know what I'm saying, Faith? Just like if I had to, I don't know about you. I just know that you look like a beautiful lady on here. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
But I can't just judge a book by its cover and say, well, Faith did this, this, and that, so she deserves this. No, because you don't really know about these people. You have not done the research on all these immigrants to see that they are a threat to society. So how can you call them a threat to society if you don't know anything about them?
Okay, so you do know that they're saying that. So initially from the beginning, and I want you to know, so right now I'm not stating my case or my perspective on this. But I do want you to know that he said initially, he and Tom Homan, the board czar, they said that they were not only going to send back violent illegal immigrants, but everyone who broke the law is a lawbreaker. In other words, it's not just the violent ones. They said that if we're going to go after the violent ones initially, but if we come upon those who are illegal, just illegally here, they're going back because they still broke the law. You know that? Did you know that?
Yes.
But you disagree with it, though.
Been here for decades.
Okay, so you feel like Zarina. You feel like, well, they've been here forever, so why bother them?
Exactly. I feel like because these are real people and real families and people who have jobs, who had jobs, and you know what I'm saying, and now they're gone, and this is happening. So yeah, I feel like these are real people. They've been here for a long time. I mean, where do you get your nails done at? And what kind of food do you eat? These all people are, if you want to call them illegal immigrants, we don't know if they have the green cards or not, but we know they've been here for a long time with these restaurants, these nail shops, and all this kind of stuff. And it wasn't until, I believe, that Trump took the office till he started using extensive, may I say, force on these people, which, like I'm saying, some people aren't even doing anything but standing there protesting, and they're getting sprayed, and they're getting shot, and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, the world has gone crazy with this violence and this immigrants and ISIS and everything.
Okay.
And, I mean, I even feel sorry for the kids because they're confused. You know, like, Mom, what's going on? I'm scared, you know?
Okay. I get it. Okay. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you, Queen. So hang on, okay? And we will be continuing, so stay tuned.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Thank you now. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to now call Savdija. Let me try, hold on. I just want to be sure that I didn't dial the wrong number with the Reham. I just want to be sure. Hold on a moment, because that could have been me. Okay, apparently not. Okay, we're moving on to Savdija. So Savdija, I hope you're listening.
Hello?
Hi, am I speaking to Savdija?
Yes, it's me.
Hi, Savdija. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you. Praise the Lord for that. Okay, so did you see it from the beginning? Did you see the first video that I showed of the burglar?
Yes, I do, but not completely all video because I'm that time a little bit out of the city and don't have good signal, but I see some.
Okay, so that might be a little problem, Savdija. Okay, so I showed a burglar who broke into a home. He broke into the homeowner's home, and when the homeowner came home, she and her grown daughter, she saw a man in her house sitting down eating her food. He had taken a bath. He had cleaned up her house. The burglar cleaned up the house. But he was sitting down eating her food, and he had taken a bath, and he had made himself at home. So this doesn't have to do with immigration. That video, that first video that I showed about the burglar. But you tell me what you believe you would do if you walked into your home and saw somebody in your home who wasn't supposed to be there.
To be honest, there's a lot of people who can make a scam you to go inside to trick their kids, like I'm your friend, I'm your cousin, let me go in, the go inside the house and try to do something like that. That's really gonna be like a shock me first when I see that.
Correct.
But after I'm gonna find out what is going on, and I'm gonna call police, definitely.
But in the yes, but Sevdija, in the story that I explained, she couldn't call the police because the homeowner's daughter, the grown daughter, knocked her mother to the floor. So the homeowner was knocked to the floor by her own daughter because her daughter wouldn't allow her to call the police because she felt sorry for the burglar. Okay? So would you let a burglar stay in your house?
Not definitely no.
Definitely not. Okay.
No.
And eating your food, but he cleaned up your house. He cleaned up your house now. But he's eating your food and he broke into your house.
Yes, definitely. I hear that. Gonna clean my house, yes, but still I'm not trust people. This is the time when you can trust a lot of people.
Correct. Okay.
And,
okay. Very good. So let's go into immigration. So tell me what your take is. What do you think about all of this with immigration, ICE, the illegal immigrants? What do you think?
I think, to be honest, that's a little bit more than supposed to be. It go too much than what the before president do, but.
So you feel that ICE is doing too much?
That's too much, yes. That's a lot. More than anybody before. That's never happened before like this. The people already have the drama in this life. And they're still now going with the ICE and too much stress, and that's doing something where it's not supposed to be do.
So what do you think that ICE should... Yes, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but we have to go on this. So what do you think that ICE should do, or the Trump administration to do? You said this has never happened like this before, but it has never been where there was such I just want to paint the full picture when you guys say that. When you say, well, this has never been like this before, that's because that it's never been this influx of illegal, immigrants crossing over, because it was an open border under the administration of Biden. So that's why it's different. As I mentioned before, Obama, they said he sent back more illegal immigrants than any other president, but it was quiet. He was quiet about it. But it wasn't, to be fair to the Trump administration, I have to say this, that it wasn't an influx of people coming in like this. So it's like extreme situations calls for extreme measures. I just kind of want to say that just on his behalf. But since you're saying it's too much that ICE is doing, and I want you to give your honest opinion as you are, what do you think ICE should have done then? What do you think Trump should do then? Should he let the people stay here? The illegal immigrants? What do you think?
I think my opinion need to change everything. That's not what you say, Mr. Obama, the standard before people back, but with a quietly, right?
Say that again. I'm sorry. Say that again.
I say, Mr. Obama sent the people back too, right?
Correct.
And quietly. That I'm with that agree, because maybe do something people wrong, maybe I don't know what is going on, but he said it quietly. So why is Mr. President now, why he not do the same thing? whatever he needs to do, to kill people, to do everything, like messed it up much more than how's the.
Okay, so you feel like he should do it quietly, Trump.
Yes.
But
if it's the real people come here in this country with the have green cards and everything, do something wrong, have a lot of people doing a lot of bad stuff, so Mr. Obama sent them back for the reason, right? I don't know, but I just think that's my opinion.
Okay.
So the Mr. Trump, he can do the same thing. Like if he is somebody doing here bad thing, doing what is not need to do, they send them back to the country, but quietly, not to kill people and doing stress in a family, doing like this, what he do, that's too much.
Okay,
that's
so when the people, okay, I hear you. So when the people attack the ICE agents, so you said that they should not be killing the people, but when they attack them, what do you think they should do?
Quietly, same like what Mr. Obama do. Quietly.
No, but I'm asking.
Example, I do something wrong now. Example, I'm driving fast and people catch me. Not need to kill me. Need to give me ticket. Need to give me, maybe take me to the jail, but don't kill me. Same thing. This is my opinion. Same thing people can do like that. Like Mr. Obama needs to. Mr. Obama sent the people like that. Like he not kill people. He sent the people back. Maybe do something wrong. I don't know, but
right.
He not kill people. He do quietly.
You said Obama did not kill people, but okay. So the people weren't. So I want to give both sides. So the people were not attacking Obama or the ICE because ICE was around then. Okay, they've been around. Okay, the federal officers. So the people were not attacking them, and that is because the people weren't aware of this. But do you think that Trump is the one? Because remember, a lot of the videos we're seeing, they're coming from people, citizens. They're coming from people that are recording this. So the people are recording what they're seeing, and they're seeing with the people getting upset, the citizens, and the citizens are attacking them, and then they end up dead. The citizens or the people who are recording them, they're the ones recording them. Trump isn't the one showing this. It's the people, the citizens, or those with their phones that are recording this, that's showing it to the world. I just want to make that clear. Just so, I mean, you could believe what you believe. I want you to know that you could be honest about what you feel, but you do realize that it's not Trump that's putting this out there. People are recording these things with their phones when they're around protesting or whatever, and they're recording what's going on, and we're seeing the people attack the ICE agents, and we're seeing the people end up killed, dead. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, my opinion, people not need to do that. Should not doing that, recording, making more problem than house is problem already. So need to support maybe another thing, another way, another story, I don't know, but not to be too much, making more than how it is.
So are you saying, let me just say this and then I'm gonna let you go. But I want you to stay tuned and continue on with the podcast because we're about to wrap it up. Once I make the last two calls. But are you saying that the people should not be recording, or are you saying that the people should not be fighting the ICE agents?
Should not recording, should not fighting, because there's nothing gonna help there.
Nothing's helping with them fighting and recording.
Example, somebody catch me like the ICE and somebody come to protect me with the recording, with the fighting, just making more drama, making just more problem. Not gonna help.
Correct, and it's even more than
support people with another way, but not with the fight and recording and making them more problem.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
my opinion.
That's your opinion. I understand. And I greatly appreciate your opinion, all of you guys. So, okay, you're saying that they should not be recording and the people should not be fighting. And you are correct on that. Thank you so much. And stay tuned. Do not leave the podcast. Wait for the wheel to be spun, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Next up, we're calling Ramon. Ramon, I hope you're listening. Hold on, guys. I have to be able to see. Okay.
Hey, Faith, how you doing?
Hi, Ramon. I'm well. How are you?
How's it going? I'm doing great.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so did you see it from the beginning where I showed something that was off the subject about the burglar that broke into the home? Did you see that video?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so give me your take on that. What do you think you would do? Of course, none of us knows what we really will do if something like that was to happen. But what do you think about that?
Let's see. If that happened and I saw a burglar in the house and he's eating the food, he said he didn't take anything. He just took a shower, took a bath, cleaned the house, and just sat there. I would sit down and talk to him. I wouldn't be hostile with him at all, because if he is explaining himself for being there and he's not violent or argumentative, then I would talk to him like a human person.
Okay. So would you let him stay?
Yeah, I would definitely let him stay. Have him finish his food, still talk to him, find out what's going on with him. If he needs any more extra help, I would definitely help him out. Even if it takes for him to stay the night, I would definitely have him stay overnight.
You would let him stay overnight?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because if he's homeless, he told me he's homeless and he's eating, that means he's hungry, but he's also cleaning the house, so he can't be that bad of a person. And he just broke in because he just got desperate.
But what if it's a scam? What if he cleaned the house, but really he has a whole nother agenda? He's planning on harming you in your sleep or anything. Like, how do you know?
Well, that's why I would sit down and talk to the person and try to get into his mind, by just listening to him. Because sometimes if you just listen to a person, you can find out a whole lot about that person.
Okay, but he broke into your house.
Yes, if he broke into the house, I would definitely not call the police. I would just, keep talking to him, and then if he needs more food, I would definitely give him more food. If he needs money, I'd definitely give him more money. And if he needs a haircut, I would even take him to go get a haircut.
But what if he won't leave your house? What if he's there for a month, 2, 3, a year?
That's a different story. Yeah, that's a totally different story. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he wouldn't be allowed to stay past.
But what if he didn't want to leave, though?
Oh, yeah, then if he didn't want to leave, then I would have to call the police. Yeah, that's a different story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you would be compassionate.
Definitely.
You would even let him stay a night. But if he refuses to leave your house, you would call the police.
Definitely.
That's where I was going. Okay, very good. Tell me your take on immigration.
Okay, the ICE immigration, yeah, they began in 2003 under the Homeland Security. And I did some research. Their actual name is Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agent. And they've been around for a while, since 2003. So I would say, what happened before 2025? Like you never saw them on TV. I never even heard of ICE agents before until this all started about a few months ago. But I totally believe that they're too violent.
Okay.
They should not be killing people, especially if they're just protesting. And if someone's like that lady
who got killed, Good, the last name was Good.
Good, yes.
For someone to just shoot through the window and shoot her in the head and shoot more bullets at her is totally crazy. I mean, why not shoot the tire? You know, I mean, there's like 10 of them. You know, just get the door open and get her on, and then if she's in the way, yeah, she's definitely in the way, interfering with a federal job and interfering with federal agents. You know, blocking them from trying to go after illegal immigrants. So, yeah, for her to just block them, yeah, that's totally crazy. But for them to shoot her and kill her, yeah, that's insane.
Okay. So I want to play the devil's advocate, and only because I want to give both sides. So I understand what you're saying, but you have to understand. And I saw this posted, and I was thinking this myself. Sometimes as human beings, we're looking on the outer side, looking at something that is going on the inside. It's almost like you're looking into a glass window and you're looking at what's going on in a house, but you're not in the house. So you're on the outside and you're seeing it from your perspective. But if you were an officer, so I want to kind of go back to you mentioning that they're agents, but so is the FBI, but they're federal law officers, or they refer to them as agents. But if you really Google it you will see that they are federal officers. And so I understand what you're saying. You're saying they're referred to as agents, but they are federal officials, so that everyone knows that. But when you're on the outside of a house and you're looking in, you're seeing it from your perspective. But if you saw it from, and again, I want you to give your honest opinion. I'm not knocking down what you feel or anything. I'm respecting that. But I want you to understand that if you were in the place of the officer and a car is coming at you. So although it seems quick to us, a few seconds or a few minutes, a car is coming at you. So when you have that type of thing happening to you in the split second, and all of this is happening, and this is very tragic, like this is tragedy going on in a matter of seconds and minutes going on. You just see a car coming at you. So you are trained, and officers are trained to kill. When they shoot, really, a lot of people say, well, they should, wound them, but they're shot. When they pull out their guns, they're supposed to be shooting to kill because they feel like their lives are in danger. So from the officer's perspective, this is what the officers are saying, and you may agree with this or disagree, and I understand. From their perspective, they're looking at a car coming at them, or they're looking at whatever the case. We don't know, like with the Alex Pretty guy, when he was down on the ground struggling with them. We saw the video where he was struggling the day he was killed, but we didn't see what happened, what was preliminary, what was before that. We didn't see what he did, but we did see later on, this circulated with the video where you saw him spitting at them and kicking the glass. Now, somebody may feel like, well, that's not enough to kill somebody, but we don't know what happened before that. But I will say, when he was struggling with them, they identified, and I don't know if that's when they identified a gun, but they knew the gun was on him. So from their minds, so people were saying, well, he had the right to carry, but understand they don't know this. And even if he did have the right to carry, that doesn't mean he's not going to use a gun because he has a right to carry. At the moment, they only know that this is a person with a gun. So when they're tussling with him, they don't know if we let him loose, is he going to get up and use his gun? So from the officer's perspective, they don't know this man. They just know he's a man with a gun when they identified the gun on him. So I don't know if they identified it, but they did release information that they saw the gun. So they're not knowing he has a license to carry. And even if he did, that doesn't mean somebody won't use their gun because they are licensed to carry. That's what I hear a lot of people say. Well, he had a license to carry. Okay. Well, does that mean that he won't use his gun? Especially, Ramon, if you have the audacity to resist arrest or kick at the tail light of an officer or to spit at an officer, they don't know what you're capable of. So I understand from your perspective, and that's your perspective, that it's too much of what ICE is doing. But if you were in their situation, you might think differently. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So let me know. Is there anything else that you want to say after I said that?
Yeah, what you said was exactly correct. But here's the other theory. He did have a gun, but it wasn't in his hand. It was in a holster, which is locked in. So for them to actually just kill the guy because he had a gun in his holster, strapped in, to me, I believe that's totally out of the question. Especially if you have like 6 guys, 10 guys on top of the guy, and they all had guns. And I believe when I saw the video on TV, one of the officers did pull out the gun from his holster, unstrap it, and then take out his own gun, and then one of the other officers shot and killed him. So the gun was not in his hand. Yeah, the guy did have a legal right to carry, but there's so many guys and women that have guns in their holsters, but you don't see any other police officers or ICE agents killing them. But because the guy had a tussle with them on the ground, but the dude was going against like 10 big ICE agents with guns. So he was, Purdy was definitely the bad guy. I had no idea that he did that before, where he spit on the agent and kicked the back of the taillight. So pretty much what he did 11 days prior before he got killed, he was already labeled as this was the guy that we got to watch out for.
But why was he labeled? Right. But why was he labeled? Was it their fault he's labeled that way, or his fault?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
So we'll say as people, as human beings, we'll say, well, they already labeled him as a bad guy. But why was he labeled? Was he labeled because of something he did? Or was he labeled because of something they did?
He was labeled because of what he did.
Okay.
If he didn't do anything as far as like kicking their car, then I don't think they would have been as harsh as they were, especially pulling out their guns and shooting, killing them when he saw the gun. When they saw the gun, to me, it showed them to have an excuse to go ahead and kill him because he has a gun. And as far as a police officer or an ICE agent, whenever someone has a gun, yeah, they do have the right to kill him to protect themselves. But because of what he did prior, 11 days ago, to that car and spit on the agent, they knew who he was.
So how do you know that? Because I was wondering that. Because as far as I understand, they didn't even know who he was. They just know, because remember, we didn't see the day he was killed, or I didn't see, maybe you've seen this. I didn't see a video of him before they were tussling with him or before he was resisting. I only saw the videos where he was tussling with them or resisting. But that day he was killed, did you see a video before that led up to all of that?
No, they never showed that video.
Right, because I don't think anybody picked it up at that, or it has not been come out.
No, they had no idea. Yeah.
Right. So my point to you is that I don't know if they knew who he was. Because let me say this to you, Ramon, it could have been where he did the same thing he did before, where he was violent at them and they had a reason to tussle with him, and then they saw the gun. I really don't know if they saw it while they were tussling with him or before, and that's the reason they tussled with him. But there was something that led up to them tussling with him, and none of us have seen that. But we did see the one that I showed you guys, 11 days before, where they let him go. They didn't kill him then. And one thing that I want to hit on with what you said that one of the officers were able to get the gun, and that is true. However, do you know that the other officers didn't know that he had gotten the gun? Because a video circulated later where after he was killed, they said, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" They were screaming. So a citizen was able to capture that where they didn't know the gun was gone. One of the officers got it out of the holster and ran with it. But the other officers who were tussling with him, they didn't know the gun was gone. So after they killed him, thinking their lives were still in danger, the one who shot him, they looked for the gun. Where's the gun? They panicked. Where's the gun? And the other officer had gotten it. So you have to realize this is what I'm telling everybody. In the split of a matter of seconds, they're wondering, this is all happening to them in their minds. It's kind of like if you went through tragedy and something's happening in split seconds or minutes, you're not thinking logically. Like everybody expects the officers to think logically. This is happening in a matter of split seconds. They don't know if their lives, if the man's going to. So you said it's in the holster, but even if it's in a holster, is it in there safely, securely? Is it halfway out? They're not thinking like, oh, it's in his holster, so we won't kill him. They just see a gun. So that is why citizens have to be careful attacking officers. I'm not saying officers are always right. I'm not saying that. But I wanted to bring this perspective, which is the reason I'm doing these podcasts now. So that is what I wanted to say, and I do appreciate you. Thank you so much. We're going to have one last call, and I want you guys to hold on. Stay tuned. We're going to spin the wheel, okay? Thank you so much, Ramon.
Hey, take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you now. Next, we're going to call Kim. We're calling Kim with her perspective on this. I hope Kim is listening. Okay, so that's the end of that. Kim did not answer. Okay, so thank you guys so much. I'm going to show you one last video. I hope it plays. Let me put my glasses on before we spin the wheel. So I want to give the perspective of, and it was good to know that some of you guys said that you're Christians. Not everybody is a Christian. One thing that I do want to say that we're living in a world where people say, well, I'm not a Christian. And we think as human beings that excludes us from God judging us. Or if there is a God, like, oh, well, if there is a God, I'm not accountable because I'm not a Christian. So I don't believe this stuff. I don't believe biblical stuff. That doesn't pertain to me. That pertains to Christians. Because I hear a lot of people saying that. Even when Charlie Kirk died and people were saying, oh, well, I'm not a Christian, so that doesn't pertain to me as far as me having to look at things from a biblical perspective. But regardless to if we're Christians or not, we're in this world and we're not going to remain in this world. The truth of the matter is we're all waking up and getting closer to our dying day. And we don't like to think about that as human beings, but that is true. We're going to leave this world one day. And whether we believe in God or not, we're going to face the God who made this world, whether we believe that or not. So I do want to say that, but I do want to show a video. And again, I hope it plays. It is a scripture that I want to give, which is coming from a biblical perspective. Hold on a moment. No, I'm sorry. That is not what I meant to play. Hold on. So let me transition that. Okay, that's not what I meant to play. I had to turn that off. Hold on. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here's a video of immigrants walking. It's just one. But I want to go over the scripture. Leviticus 19:33 says, you shall not oppress the sojourner. You know the heart of the sojourner. You were once sojourners in the land of Egypt. Romans 13, so it tells us not to oppress people who are immigrants. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities. This is Romans 13, 1 through 5. For there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted. And those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers hold no terror for those who do right, but for those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from fear of one in authority? Then do what is right, and you will be commended. For the one in authority is God's servant. Okay, I missed some of that. But anyway, it goes on to say, they are God's servants, agents of wrath, to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. Therefore, it is necessary to submit to the authorities, not only because of possible punishment, but also as a matter of conscience. Okay, let me switch back. So I read both of those two scriptures, and this is according to God's perspective. So in the book of Leviticus there, it tells us to be kind to the immigrant or the sojourner, the person who has come to a country that is a foreigner. The Bible tells us to be kind to them. However, it goes on to say, obey those who are in authority. For every authority that exists, God ordained it. So he put authority in place so that we will do the right thing. Okay. So how do you decipher, or how do you deal with both of those scriptures? Because one is saying, be kind to the immigrant, okay? And the other is saying, obey authority. For every authority that there is, God ordained. And it also says that if you do not obey authority, it will cause you to be punished or consequences. So, as I want to kind of go back to what Vladimir said, and I really appreciate all of you guys, and I think all of you guys had some very good insight on this. But Vladimir said we're to obey the law. The law is the law. Okay? Now, from what I understand, and I want you guys to drop comments, not only just speak here verbally, but I want you to drop your comments, just comment as much as you want to. If you disagree with me, whatever that's not going to cause you to, if the wheel stops on your name, for you to lose out. I want you to know that. I respect what you feel. Okay. But as far as I know, Trump is not against immigrants. He's against those who are illegally here. So let me share something with you guys. I recently went to London for London Fashion Week. And before I went, I had to have, of course, my passport, but I also had to have something that's equivalent to a passport, which is an ETA. And it's equivalent to a short-term passport that lasts like 2 years. And when I was completing it, it said, this is what the UK said to me, because that's where London is, in the UK, in Europe. It said to me that if you remain in our country longer than you're supposed to, you will be prosecuted. Now, a lot of people think that it's only America that this is happening. In fact, America has been just kind of wide open. But no other country can you just cross over and be there because you just have dreams and you want to be there. Now, the Bible tells us that those who are running for their lives, like if they're asylees and they're running for their lives, then we're to embrace them. They're leaving their country because they're running for their life. Okay? We're to welcome them into the country. However, there is a process for an asylee, but America has allowed asylees to come here and be here for 15 years while they go through the process to see if they're really an asylee. So I saw a press conference that said that it takes about 15 years for America to really see if this person is an asylee or not, which is asylum. Are they really an asylee, or do they just have dreams of coming to a country where the land of honey and milk and honey, where opportunity is abundant, and we're blessed to be in America? You can be poor, be born poor in America, and come out rich down the road. That's not in other countries, okay? So it's the land of opportunity, and many people want to be here. So I saw a press conference that stated that a lot of people who say that they're asylees really aren't. And when they go through the process, America goes through the process and the paperwork after 15 years of the people staying here and them claiming that they're asylees, that it turns out that the country that they came from, they really weren't running from it. They wanted to be in the land of milk and honey. They wanted to be in America, and I don't blame them. But you cannot just cross over into a country because you have dreams. Now, Queen stated that, Queen, and I believe it was Natasha, they stated that the people have been here so long, just let them stay here. They've been here so long. But if you really think about that, ladies, that's like because when you break into a country, any country, it's not just America, you cannot just cross over into a country because you want to be there. There are laws. It's against the law. In fact, it is a crime to break into a country. America looks at it as a, what do you call it? Oh gosh, I can't even think of the name. A milder type of thing at first, the first offense. But they can prosecute it as a felon. They can do that. Other countries, as Ramon said, I believe it was Ramon, he said, if you cross into other countries, you shot down. It just does not happen. It just does not happen. You can't, because we don't know who you are. That's how the countries look. Who you crossing over into our country? We don't know what you're capable of. We don't know if you're going to kill us. So let me go back to the video that I showed you guys. The first video, the video that showed about the man breaking into the house. That didn't have to do with immigration per se, but I wanted to hear you guys' take on it. And most of you said, no, they can't stay in my house. He broke into my house. No, he's just not going to stay there. Even, I believe that it was, who was it? No, I'm sorry. It may have been, I'm so sorry, I got it mixed up. Vladimir, I can't remember. I think Vladimir said it. He said, you cannot just break the law. Ramon was saying that he would sit down and talk to them and feed them and give them money and help them out. But if they refuse to leave, then he would call the police. Well, that's how the country is. That's how America is. You can't just come into our house because you want to be here. But I wanted to say to Natasha and to Queen, I understand you guys' perspective, ladies, but I will say that's just like somebody breaking the law. Like, say, for instance, if somebody harmed you or a family member of yours, Lord forbid, and they got away with it for years. Would you say, well, they got away with it for years, so let them get away with it? They shouldn't be prosecuted. They shouldn't go to jail. They've been here all this time, so let them go. Let them go, let them stay. But they're still a criminal. They still committed the crime. Many people are crossing over, and I'm not saying there are asylees, but they say only 3% of those people are really asylees when it all boils down after them staying here for 15 years, and they do the investigation, they do the paperwork, they investigate the country, they do all of that. They find out that they were just people with dreams. And I understand, but you just can't cross over into a country because you have dreams, okay? You guys are going to believe what you want to believe, but when we looked at scripture and how God looks at this, God is all for us embracing the immigrant, but the legal immigrant, or somebody who's running for their life, an asylee, but not somebody who just has dreams, just because they want to be here, because as mild as it may seem, they broke the law and they sinned. We may not look at it as a sin. That's a sin. You can't, if I break into your house, I'm sinning. If I break into your house, I'm committing a crime. If I break into your car, I'm sinning. When you break into anything, it is wrong. It is a moral issue, which means sin, and it's also a legal issue. So I understand what you guys are saying, but according to what we have seen with ICE, and until I see differently, I have seen the citizens attacking them because from their perspective, they're helping the helpless. But you're obstructing the law. These people are doing their jobs. They have a job. That's just like you being hired as a police officer and somebody's attacking you. They're spitting on the people. They're kicking them. They're doing all kinds of things. I'm not saying police don't abuse authority, but I wanted to bring it from the right perspective. We are to embrace people. As Queen said, these are people with lives, as all of you guys made your comment. However, we can't just cross over into a country because we have dreams. It's against the law. And that's really any country. As I believe Vladimir said, they would be shot to the ground if they broke into other countries. Shot to the ground, shot dead. So it's unfortunate that these people are dying, the ones that are fighting ICE. But the Bible says to obey the laws of the land because all authority comes from God. Now, that doesn't mean that people don't abuse authority. But God put authority in place because he knew we were human beings and we do wrong. So there needs to be law and order. So I just wanted to say that and bring a balance to it. I want you guys to comment. Make sure you comment as well. Thank you guys for hanging in there all this time. You've been with me for over an hour, so thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Make sure, put those comments down. Hit the like button. Make sure you do that. Leave your comments. Get other people to comment that they can watch this later on our YouTube channel. So send them the link. But right now, we're going to spin the wheel. And you guys' names are on here. And I'm going to spin the wheel. If it stops on Reham's name because she was not available, then we're going to have to spin it again. And I hate that. That's why I tell you guys to make sure you're here. Whomever's name it stops on, you will be featured on a page of Prague Fashion International Digital Magazine. For those who don't know me, I am a filmmaker, TV producer, and the brand owner of Prague Fashion. And Prague is a collective of different magazines that we have dealing with music, but this one pertains to fashion and modeling. Okay? Normally we don't give away a feature. It costs. Okay? And to be on the cover, it costs. So you guys can visit the website, praguefashion.com, and check it out. There is a cost to being featured in the magazine. But right now I'm giving this away. So the person, make sure you guys that if you win, the winner, that your photo is up to par. If you guys want to be models, you have to understand that you have to invest in yourself and get high quality photos. Okay? It needs to be 1080p at least, preferably 4K. Okay? We're going to spin the wheel now. Okay, it stopped at Reham and she wasn't available, so I'm going to spin it again. Okay, let me see who that is. That is Natasha. Okay, guys, it stopped on Natasha's name. Natasha is the winner. All of you guys have been wonderful. I absolutely appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning into this. If you are interested in being in runway shows, we do Miami runway, London, we've been there, New York Fashion Week, I recently came from there. We feature models on billboards and in our magazine and on the cover. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I greatly appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day, a wonderful Saturday. Have a great day.